In this topic of methodology, we are going to study various methodologies which are needed to understand how to approach given stack of problem. There are three such type of methodologies. First is top-down methodology, second is bottom-up methodology, and the third one is hybrid methodology. Then we will study type of tolerance stack up analysis. Here we will study worst case stack up analysis and statistical tolerance analysis. Out of statistical tolerance analysis, we will study root sum square method. And while studying both these processes, we will simultaneously study one example of both these types. Also, we will study what are the benefits of both these types and what are the disadvantages of both these processes. We will also study in which scenario one process has advantage over other process. So let's start this topic. Now we will study top-down method. This is first type of approach which we are going to study for tolerance analysis. This methodology is used when we have imposed the limit on total variation of an assembly. This limitation might be imposed due to total space available for a given assembly. To explain this, consider a scenario where you want to install one given subassembly in a given compact space. So, if you are going to design a new concept, then you have to take into account space limitations given for the new concept. Only a given specific amount of space variation will be allowed for given concept. Because if you don't follow the limitation, then the part is not going to fit in a given compact space. Hence, new concept already has assembly level dimensional constraint imposed on it. This assembly level constraint you have to take into consideration while designing components of this concept and distribute allowed variation to the components equally or as suitable as you want. Here in a given diagram we can see part D, which is a non-modifiable part and has dimension limit of 60.3 mm. Note that we have considered here fixed dimension to understand this concept. We are not considering variation of this specific part so as to easily understand the concept. This part is a existing part which we do not want to modify. Now as the part D has fixed limit of 60.3 mm and if you want to create 3 new parts which will get fit into this space, then we have to certainly look at the space available. Here we have distributed 60 mm in parts A, B, C as 30 mm, 20 mm and 10 mm respectively. And we have given variation of plus 0.1 mm to each of them. Adding this, we can easily say the assembly of part A, B, C and D will be possible. And at worst case, they will give 0 mm gap. On the other side, we have given negative 0.1 mm tolerance to each part A, B, C so as to allow relaxation in opposite direction. Hence, this assembly will give gap in the value of 0 to 0.6 mm, that is from 60.3 to 59.7 mm. And that's how top-down method works. Now we will study bottom-up methodology. This methodology is used when we have components which are already productionized and hence non-modifiable, and we want to use those components in a new concept or new assembly. So here we need to find out what amount of variation these all components will cause to an assembly when they get together. Here the situation is exactly opposite to that of previous one, that is top down approach. Here component level variation will decide the total assembly level variation. Here, as shown in diagram, part A, B, C are already existing productionized part which will be assembled together. Suppose we want to design new part which will keep this part assembled together. So we design part D as shown. Here we can easily conclude that assembly of part A, B and C will give worst case distance of 60.3 mm. Hence, it is obvious that the part D should have worst case distance of 60.3 mm. Hence, we design part D with dimension 60.5 plus or minus zero point 0.2. Hence, the worst case for part D becomes 60.3. And after assembly of part A, B, C and D, we can say that worst case gap is 0 mm and most favorable gap is 1 mm. That's how bottom up methodology works. Now we will study about hybrid methodology. Hybrid methodology is most common type of approach than that of previously discussed because in practical scenario only top down or bottom up approach cannot yield optimum result. In order to obtain optimum result, we need to go top down and bottom up several times. Means we have to consider part level variation, then its effect on assembly. From assembly level, we have to again move to the product level and then optimize the tolerances. This method will be definitely used for entirely new concept. Here, as shown in figure, we will have at least some components which are going to be newly designed and component T which is also a new design. Then we can utilize hybrid approach. Here we will first go bottom up approach and find total assembly level variation available. As the assembly level part and the product level part both have flexibility of modification. If assembly level part came across some limitations to tolerate given variation of components, then with the help of top-down approach, we can fine-tune variation of components. Hence, by this process, we can get optimum variation, and that's how this method works. Now, we will study types of tolerance stack-up methods. There are two most commonly used methods of tolerance stack-up analysis. First one is worst case method and second one is statistical method. Statistical method itself include many types, but we are going to cover only root sum square method. Now, what is worst case tolerance analysis? So, in worst case analysis method, we assume that all the contributing dimensions of components in a given assembly have reached their maximum worst case limit. Hence, the assembly will face its worst case scenario. This method ensures 100% possibility of assembly and guarantees that estimated stack-up variation will not be exceeded beyond predicted limit. This process does not include consideration of accuracy of manufacturing processes which components are going to undergo and assumes all the parts are going to their worst case maximum value at same time. Hence, the gap value coming out of this analysis will be conservative one. Now, let us see simple example of worst case analysis. Worst case analysis is very simple method where variation of gap at assembly level will be calculated by doing simple arithmetic operation on the tolerances of component. Here, two parts having mean dimension 8 mm and tolerances of zero point 0.9 and zero point 0.7 with plus or minus sign. These parts are contained within orange color part plus or minus 2 mm. Now, by doing simple arithmetic operation on tolerances, we can say that the resulting gap will have variation of tolerance as 3.6 and mean value of gap will be 9 mm. We will further study this method in detail in upcoming slides. Worst case method is used in cases such as volume of production is small. It is also used when 100% acceptance of final product is desired. Means not even single assembly is expected to be failed. This method should also be used when the number of contributing components to given assembly are comparatively less. Because in such a scenario, statistical tolerance analysis has higher chances to fail. The point to be noted here is the worst case tolerancing method is known for giving most conservative value of variation for given gap. Now we will study about statistical tolerance analysis. This method utilizes principle of statistics to determine allowable tolerance at assembly level. In this method, the output gap tolerance we get is slightly relaxed than that of worst case method. For worst case methods, we assume that all contributing dimensions have reached their extreme and all components with such a extreme dimensions were assembled together in given assembly. But in actual scenario, such a case is very rare to occur. During actual assembly, such a scenario is very rare to happen. Statistical analysis does not focus on extreme values of given component. Rather, it considers distribution of variation of each dimension. By knowing distribution of variation of each dimension, what is the probability that our performance characteristic will fall within defined acceptable limits? Under statistical analysis, there are various methods, but we will mention here two methods. One is root sum square method and another one is modified root sum square method. Here in this course, we will focus on root sum square method only because it is most widely used statistical tolerance analysis method. Now, let's study statistical tolerance analysis method with simple example. Here the same example is used which used for worst case method. We can see the mean gap value is same because all these method only affect the tolerance of components. Here the gap tolerance we are getting is plus or minus 2.302. Formula needed for this outcome will be discussed in further chapters. The important point to be considered here is the gap value variation shown for this method is less than that of worst case method. This denotes that as per statistical analysis, gap value of 9 plus or minus 2.302 will yield assembly success rate of 99% or more. If we compare variation of worst case and statistical tolerance analysis, we can see there is a gap of 1.3 mm Hence, in other words, we can say that in statistical method, this 1.3 mm available gap can be used to relax the tolerances of components that are used in assembly. Hence, considering economics, statistical method is more economical, but it also depends on volume of production of given assembly. So, this method is used where production volume is very high. It is also used where the finite amount of rejection of some components is acceptable. Possibility that very small amount of products will be rejected will be there, say 1% or 2%. This method is also favorable when there are many number of parts forming a given assembly, because at such a point the probability that all the components have dimensions going to their worst will be very rare. Hence, here we have completed this chapter with basic introduction of methodologies and tolerance stack-up types.